Lovely. Right. Hello, everyone. Thank you to those of you who are joining us live and for the others who will be watching this later. My name, for those of you who don't know me, is Sandra Canfer Clark, and I have been working with Claire Bailey at the Health Hub for quite a few years now. And for those of you who don't know Claire, on the other hand, Claire runs a gym in Evesham in Worcestershire called the Health Hub. It's a ladies only gym and it's fantastic. And as you can imagine, she's had to be quite creative and think on her feet very quickly when the lockdown happened. And so has moved all her classes and everything online. And by all accounts is doing a fabulous job. And I know my family, but I believe plenty of others as well are really enjoying the classes and doing them from home. And she's an amazing lady at keeping up your energy and keeping you focused and motivated. Claire and I have over the years, well, one of the things we share is our ethos and our whole values around health and well-being and how we need to approach our health and lifestyle in a holistic way. And we have run various workshops and classes and sessions together. And at the moment, again, for those of you who don't know, Claire had a baby son just over, well, a bit over a year ago now. And so at the moment, I'm focusing on promoting the other aspects that she doesn't have time for, on top of everything else she's juggling. And that's one of the reasons I'm holding this webinar. And some of you may have listened to one I held a few weeks ago, which was about just focusing on strengthening your immune system and making sure that you stay as healthy and as strong as you can in these interesting times. And I thought I'd pick up on this and carry on today and take this to the next level, because the lockdown will have an impact on everyone, I suspect, as it has done on us. And actually, while I'm going to introduce it, I will also, please forgive me, because I will be clicking to share my screen. But so what this is, what we were thinking, what Claire and I have both been thinking about, and this is one of the reasons I'm here today to talk to you about this, is the fact that for many people, I'm sure for many of you, staying healthy in the current climate isn't as easy as it sounds. I know plenty of us, great, so many weeks at home, we've got time to exercise, we have time to think about what we eat because we're not distracted by work or other things. And of course, the reality is quite different. Many of you, like me, are working from home. Many of you, like me, have children at home that require help with their homeschooling. And my younger one is 13 and my older one is 16. And they both need support. The 16-year-old, because she was meant to do her GCSEs, and her whole world has collapsed in a way when they said they're cancelling them, because all of a sudden, literally from one day to the next, school was over. And of course, for her, it was over for good. She's going on to do A-levels. But for those of you who've been through this, know that this is, that's a change and it's not a straightforward one. And when we don't have that chance to close things properly and we're just thrown into the next thing or out of the last thing without much time to adjust, it's emotionally quite challenging. The younger one, who's 13, is more than capable of working on her own. We leave her at home on her own at her age. And even so, having to school herself every day with just some information shared online, go and do this, go and do that, needs support. So they need time. Exercising, it sounds great, doesn't it? But when we're struggling emotionally, it's not always that easy to do. So there have been lots of challenges with this that I'm sure you've all experienced. And so I thought, especially with the latest announcements yesterday, I thought, let's go over where we're at and look at different ways you can look after yourselves and keep this going. Because, of course, the longer it goes on for, the more challenging it becomes in so many ways. Most of us have done all the DIY around the house that we could possibly do, cleaned up the garden, cleaned the house. If you are working from home a lot, then you've probably got used to working from home. And there's a bit of a routine there. And so we're kind of at a point where we need to think about how to keep ourselves healthy and how to keep this going. So this is, I've already touched on the various ways it might have affected you. We had in our house, and I've seen a lot of other people, had a dip about a week to 10 days ago. So the first 4 weeks, a lot of our friends, and I don't know if it's the same for you, went, actually, this is quite nice. You know, there's less pressure. We're not running around everywhere so much. We're staying home more. And that sort of wore thin after a while. And then the weather turned cold before it was hot again. And it rained around here anyway. And everybody went, oh, this is a bit miserable now. And I'm not enjoying this so much. So physically, I know I sort of jumped the gun here and went on into the emotional a bit, but the physical side as well was with that. We didn't exercise so much, we didn't do so much, and it is amazing. I don't know how you are finding this, but I'm amazed at how much we move around in a day, even when we don't think we're moving. So going to work, getting up and grabbing a coffee, all these little back and forths that you do when you're at work, popping out for lunch, walking a bit afterwards, you know, all these little things make a difference. I don't know about you and how you manage to keep going with your exercise regime from home. Some people love it, some people struggle with it. I personally will admit I'm one of those people. I do very well for some time and then I drop and become a complete couch potato at other times, mostly when it's cold and miserable, after it's been nice in particular. So I struggle with that. So this today has been horrible again for me, because I don't know where you are, but it is about 10 degrees cooler than yesterday, and it's really hit me. And it was the same about 10 days ago. And then that affects my mood, of course. When I'm out exercising, it brings my mood down, as it does with everyone. So lots of ups and downs, you know, different moments where missing friends and family, other moments where you make use of Zoom and WhatsApp, and it's okay. If you're here or if you're listening to this afterwards and you want to share your experience, please do, because sometimes it just helps talk about it. And the other challenge, of course, is the financial one, the financial health. I hope you're still at work. If you are furloughed, I hope that you're in a safe position. But of course, there is a general sense of uncertainty and insecurity everywhere, and one that is predicted to stick around. And we will all feel this, no matter where we're at, it'll be affecting us. So this is don't underestimate your financial health and the insecurities and the fears around that. They really affect every other aspect of your being. But before I carry on, I thought I'd quickly go over the 4 areas I discussed in the last webinar, and I won't go into them for too long, especially those who've heard it. So just a brief touch on the fact that we looked at nutrition last time, eating healthily for not weight. As women, we often talk about eating healthily for weight loss. We focus very much on just eating healthily for a positive attitude and lots of energy. So plant-based, no processed carbs where possible, lots of fruit and vegetables, and just a generally healthy, balanced diet that will give you some of the comfort factors you need, but at the same time also keep your energy levels up. So low glycemic, all these kind of things. We talked about exercise, and of course, those of you who are members of the Health Hub are making use of that. That's why you're members of the Health Hub. And again, a quick reminder, exercise especially in situations like these, is about a balance. So it's about keeping yourself moving in a way that doesn't push you too hard, because when you push yourself quite far, it actually can adversely affect your immune system. When you want to strengthen your immune system, it's a different type of exercise. So you just want to keep yourself moving and going. So long walks is a fantastic thing to do, or bike rides or whatever it is you do. But joining in the classes can also be a great way. If it is at your exercise level, don't push yourself too far. It has the adverse effect in this context. The mindset, as we know, is always key. So keeping a positive mindset, I've already touched on it with how lockdown might affecting us, but we talked about meditation, visualization, and of course, just generally staying optimistic and keeping in touch with friends, the kind of things that we can do to just stay calm and stay positive. And the last one we touched on were supplements. Supplementing a healthy diet with the right nutrients is crucial at the best of times, and now more than ever, because the stronger your immune system, the less likely that any virus will adversely affect you. It doesn't mean you don't catch them, and it doesn't mean you don't fall ill, but your body will cope better with it should you catch it. That is the key thing. So those were the 4 things we discussed last time. So let's have a look at what we found out since yesterday. I don't know if all of you and how much you've kept up with it, but we are continuing to be locked down. So we still have this to deal with. We've got a few small changes. They're now encouraging us to go out to work where possible, but still keeping the 2 meter social distancing. So this is, I think, for a lot of people, this bit of information, a bit of grey area and quite confusing, and we'll have to see how it evolves over the next few days. But for some of you, this might be putting the pressure on you to go out to work. Some of you might not feel entirely safe to do that yet, and yet feel you might have to, so there are issues around that. Some of you might wish you could go back to work, but still can't. Yeah, it's a tough one. Now, the big benefit or the big positive changes, they're now encouraging us to go out more than once a day and as much as we like, and to exercise, provided we keep our distance from other people. So they're encouraging us to lie in the sun, sit on a park bench and have a break, which they were asking us not to do until now. And the other big thing is, and there was confusion around that, because what Boris Johnson said yesterday was then revised or explained afterwards, and today you can meet one person from another household. So an exercise together, provided you keep a 2 meters distance. So you could meet a friend, a partner who does live with you, a family member who lives in another house, and go off and go for a run with them, go for a walk with them and keep your distance, sit in a park at a distance and catch up, which of course is wonderful, and it's quite a big increase in our liberties in some way. Now, what I read up today, which wasn't mentioned yesterday, and I'm not going to go into this, but something, just keep an eye on this. We're now being encouraged to wear masks on public transport, and it's interesting to see whether this advice won't expand into wearing masks at when shopping, etc. So keep an eye on that. So we can do some things, but we're still going to be stuck at home most of our time. So how do you make the most of that extra freedom? And at the same time, how do you keep yourself safe while you're going forward? Because as freedom increases, all of us, I'm sure, no matter what our views are concerned or at least nervous about a second wave. We need to be aware of it, because apparently Germany's already seeing the numbers go up, who've loosened their rules about 2 weeks ago. And so we're all unsure how to make the best of both things. And I thought I'd just give you a few simple pointers. I'm going to digress for a second. This is not my area of expertise. I thought I'd touch on the safety measures as recommended by the government, the masks, the gloves, the distancing, the hand washing. There are lots and lots of videos and information flowing around from different scientists about whether this is the right thing to do, whether we shouldn't be doing it. I think the honest truth is nobody really knows yet, because it's a new virus. The reality is that this is the country we live in, and so we have to work with what we're given here. A lot of people are talking about the fact that if you have a strong immune system, you don't need those kind of measures, or rather, we don't need to stay home, we don't need to stay apart, because with a strong immune system, you'll be fine. And that is absolutely true. The vast majority of us are okay and will be okay. But I'd ask you, if you're that way inclined, to just remember that this isn't just about you and me and the healthy ones. It's about our collective responsibility for everybody in society. And we need to help each other look after the ones that aren't healthy for whatever reason, and that still need to go out and carry on. So let's follow all these measures strictly and stick with it. The more we all do it, the better for the country as a whole. And equally, if you're one of the people out there working, then you want us all to stick to those measures to keep you safe, because why should you be exposed when you don't have a choice? So, and I certainly am aware that, and I encourage everyone else to think about that, think about everyone else. So let's follow the measures. That's for everyone else. For yourself and your immune system, let's look at what you can do. So we touched on it last time: exercise, nutrition, the mindset, and supplementation are all key aspects to keep your immune system strong. And just a reminder how a positive mindset really makes a difference. And that doesn't always come easy, and particularly if you're isolated. I have some friends, you might be in the same category, who live on their own, who therefore don't have a family at home with them. And I've got friends in London who live in flats all on their own. And that's tough. That is really, really tough. And I get that. And I hope we all get that for each other, that those are challenging times. So whatever you can do to keep yourself positive, do it. Reach out for help if you need it. Ask. Those of us with families who are, like I said at the beginning, who are keeping busy with work and homeschooling and stuff might be busy, but that doesn't mean we can't make time for those amongst us who need help because they haven't got that. So reach out. Again, meditation is amazing at calming us down and helping us look out into the fun, the more positive things. Going across from that, the mindset, to actually exercise in the outdoors. Go outside when the sun is shining. Vitamin D is fantastic on every level for your physical health, for your emotional health, so go out, get the sunshine. It does make us feel better. It does it on a physical level, it does it on an emotional level. So just go out, and now that you can, wherever you can, to arrange to go for a walk with somebody rather than on your own, go and do it. Sit out on a park bench and watch people, animals, birds, gardens where you can. If you haven't got that at home, it really lifts your spirits. We're allowed to drive further to go for exercise. Find some nice woodlands, lakes, whatever floats your boat, but go and do it because it has a big impact on your emotional well-being. Supplements. I wanted to talk a bit more about those today, only because from a slightly different angle. I'm not going to try and talk you through why supplements, etc., because if you're not sure why to take supplements yet and you want to talk about it, I'll happily give you time one-on-one and I'll explain to you what the benefits are, etc. But today I was going to talk to those of you who are already buying supplements or who are happy to go and buy some. We all like to support our local businesses, so I would ask you politely, if you are up for it, to support Claire with her local business. She and I both are partnered with a company called USANA. So while they are in America and they manufacture their supplements over there, we are local. And when you buy through our websites, we get some commission for it. So if you are happy to continue supporting Claire and you are looking for supplements, it'd be great if you bought them from her. The added bonus is that these genuinely are amongst the very best supplements in the world. So you are in safe hands if you do it. And I will go to a link in a minute and just show you some of the key products amongst the USANA ones that we would recommend, just the basic ones to just boost your immune system. But I can only vouch for the fact that I've been on those for over 20 years now. I've got my kids on them, and I've always been amazed how much better my kids have fared right from nursery days through primary school and now to secondary school. They had a fraction of the colds and flus and illnesses that kids normally get. I noticed a real difference and still do when those bugs come around, how well I cope. So they do work. I can honestly tell you that like I say, you're in safe hands with them. I'm digressing for a second. I'm just going to go back to the financial health for a minute. I hope you're financially okay and you don't have to worry about any of it. If you are at all worried about your finances, or if you just have time on your hands because you've been furloughed, you're a little bit bored, have a think about creating additional income streams. USANA, the company that Claire and I both partnered with, is such a business that you can do it from home as a part-time business alongside your other businesses or your job. And it can be great fun. We're working as a team. We help each other, which is always nice. It makes us focus on looking after our health and introducing others to it. And that's just one of many businesses that you can do in that way. I'm not trying to tell you that this is the business for you. I'm just using it as an example because we have found it's such a backstop for us and such a security blanket that there is something else we can do to keep our brains active, if nothing else, another area to explore, and an additional income stream to go alongside our main businesses. So if you're in that kind of position where you're just not sure what to do, or you would like to do something, or you think you just have to because of the situation you're in, again, feel free to touch base with me. You can find me via the Health Hub members page. I'm genuinely happy to talk you through a whole range of different business options. While I have partnered with USANA, I'm not blindly committed to them in the sense that I'm very happy to advise you on different options and just give you an idea of how these different systems work so you can pick the one that's best for you. So that was a brief digression, and I'm just going to try and see if I can bring the link up, because what I'd like to finish with is show you Claire's webpage. Is it going to let me do that from here? There we go. Lovely. If you're interested in trying these supplements, her webpage was listed at thehealthhub.usana.com. I'll post it in when I bring up the recording in the Health Hub members page. But as you can see, so I'm just going to move a window here. There we go. You've got a list of different pages, but I will run down here because the core nutritionals, Cell Essentials in the middle are a multivitamin, and they cover everything you need to keep yourself healthy. To the left of it, the USANA Bionica is their fish oil. And if it was up to me, and if I was starting from scratch, and I advised anybody, I would say if you can take these, the Cell Essentials come in 2 bottles, so effectively these 3 bottles together, then that's a great place to just keep yourself healthy on top of a good diet. If that's too much for you, either financially or because it's too many pills, don't worry about it. Just start with the Cell Essentials. And again, if that is still too much for you, do a half dose of them. The dosage is listed on bottles. Again, we can advise you, but don't feel it has to be perfectly as per instructions or not at all. This is a system. You can tailor it to your needs, whether they're financial needs or ability or whatever suits you. Okay, so be flexible with it. We're here to help, but these are the kind of products that we would recommend if this is the company you want to go with. And if you don't, then that's okay, of course. And again, feel free to pick my brains. I'm happy to give you the key points, how you know whether something is good or not good, and how to find the right products for you, or the right company for you. Right. Now, this was short and sweet. I didn't want to keep you too long because I know I can drone on a bit at times. Thank you for your time. Stay safe. Do everything you can to look after yourself. Remember that you're not alone. As I said, I support and work with Claire, and I'm quite happy to chat to people free of charge. This is not you don't have to pay me, but if you need to bounce something off me around this subject of health and well-being, get in touch and we'll have a chat, and I'll do anything I can to help. And if you're perfectly happy with where you're going, then keep it up. That's great. Lockdown will come to an end. We will get to go out and hug all our friends and family again. But in the meantime, let's look after each other the best we can. I'd like to thank you for your time. I'll share the recording as soon as it's uploaded, and wish you all a wonderful day. Thank you very much. I shall